Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale, up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery with the purchase of any smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Roca Pizzeria on Government Street at Mid-City. Welcome to the Wednesday edition Live at Lunch.
It's good to be here at Roca.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Handegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Paul Stone contributing to today's show. Scott Rabelais with us at noon. Wes Reynolds as we wind down in the golf playoffs. And little news out of Saints camp as the injuries starting to jump up on the Who-Dats a little bit. How you doing, Jim?
Oh, it's going to crush their season.
Well, I didn't say that.
Promising.
When you're starting with a pretty low ceiling to begin with, the last thing you want is for any more injuries to.
I gave you guys a pass, last couple of days on this reaction from the Saints preseason game.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That was garbage.
I don't remember saying anything.
Well, this guy's got a chance. And this guy's all right. And
all I can do is point
garbage,
out. All I can do is point out.
Poor Kellen Moore.
An individual player here and there.
No,
because
I get
the overall thing is not good. But okay.
And we don't want to overreact. And like I said, either way, I think the Saints Super Bowl season at 0-4 in the preseason.
No,
I think so.
No, they were.
What year they had a really good year? Was 0-4?
They were 3-1 in that Super Bowl season.
You remember that?
I remember it because they came out and blew the doors. Breeze actually played in some of those games. They blew the doors off in the first 3 games of whoever they played, and in the fourth game they sat everybody and lost.
The conference championship appearance or the Super Bowl
season?
No,
the Super Bowl season.
What
I remember
was
thinking,
Peyton's first
wow,
year?
06. That was.
I know what year it was. What was the record?
Oh, I don't remember what their preseason record was that year.
I would say this because it was a standalone game. Because you only had 2 games on Sunday. You had a noon kickoff and a 3 kickoff. There's a lot of people nationally that are plowing in on Saints' worst record. I'm just saying,
there's a real
is that
chance.
Overreaction to?
No.
But more eyeballs were on the Saints preseason game than usual.
Right.
So
Saints were 1-3 in the preseason in 06.
1-3. Okay.
And one of the things you're talking about is because even this is a sportsbook manager who's not betting, but he's saying they read the reports of the beat writers and information, try and get a pulse, and they try this, and they were just blown away on, man, Spencer Rattler is showing, he's proven he's pulling away, or we all agree with the reports that Rattler looked way better, huh? Rattler, and then, whoa, this is the guy that's ahead. Oh, this team's in trouble.
Yeah, they have the worst quarterback situation in the league. When we first got the schedules or whenever it came out, the longest shots to win the Super Bowl after the schedules of the draft, I forget which one it was the Saints, the Browns, the Giants were the bottom 3 teams, I believe. They were all tied at the bottom for longest shot to make the Super Bowl.
Titans.
And Titans. Those were the 4, okay? So of those 4, who's got the worst quarterback situation? The Saints, okay? I don't think that either one of those kids is as good as Cam Ward. They're certainly not as good as Joe Flacco or Russell Wilson. All right, so you got the worst quarterback situation in the league.
Did you say Joe Flacco's going to be the opening day starter? Did I hear that?
Yeah.
Please.
Oh,
please.
Well, he's the best one. I mean, if they,
when you're vested, you kind of clouds your rationale.
If they want to win games, is the most important to them, and not developing somebody else, then Flacco should start. He's better than Kenny Pickett.
Well, that was my reasoning too, but I'm just trying to get this thing home.
Well, I don't
can't throw for 5. Please don't.
I don't know what Cleveland's thinking half the time, but if their intent is to have the best chance to win Game 1, Joe Flacco should start.
There's guys that should win awards that aren't presented awards.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So I hope you're right, Charlie.
Fine.
I'm pulling for you.
Okay,
I'm pulling for you, Charlie.
And that's on a baseline of the Saints keeping everybody healthy. Okay, now, right off the bat, you know that you're not going to have Taysom Hill anytime soon. Moore reiterated that yesterday. He's got torn ACL. At best, you're going to get him back in the middle of the season. At best, probably not. Maybe not at all, but certainly not any. Yesterday, Kellen Moore's words were exactly not anytime soon on Taysom Hill, not anytime soon on Foster Moreau.
Yeah, because that
Taysom Hill would help.
Yeah, because we know that they don't see that, and it's not something you can win at the highest level with just all gadgets. And we've seen him as a regular quarterback. He's not, but damn it, when he gets in the game, it's limited, but it's productive.
Right, and I want to get my exact quotes here.
They're waiting on MRI.
No, he tore the ACL last year in November, I think it was.
Okay,
so,
I thought you said a new injury.
And then Foster Moreau, I think he could get back sooner than Hill, but he said no time soon on him. So what was the injury that killed him last year more than anything?
Oh, the center,
Eric McCoy. So they brought in Will Clapp who's been a player in the league for 6 years now, so that the drop off was not so dramatic. If McCoy got hurt again, Clapp gets hurt 3 plays into the game on Sunday, he's out for the year. Okay, so now you got a rookie behind McCoy. Trevor Penning seemed to be acclimating to guard. Why they didn't do that a year ago, I have no idea. That seemed like the easiest move in the world to me, but Dennis Allen and them didn't make it. Moore and them did. He looked a lot better at guard than he did at tackle, according to everybody that was down there. He hurt himself yesterday in the game. They took him off on a cart. It's not as bad as they feared, but it's a turf toe. It's going to keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. So he's no better than 50-50 to start the opener.
A limited roster, now banged up limited roster.
I'm not done. Alante Taylor, who is scheduled to start at one corner, is also going to be out for a while. Yeah, I like him a lot, actually. Think that he can be a player. So he's going to be out for a little while, too. It's a groin injury is expected to be out a while. That's the exact quote. So when we talk about worst record in the league and we talk about longest shots to make the Super Bowl or the playoffs or anything like that, we're talking about that from a roster that is healthy.
Right. You're going to get injuries over the course of the season, and there's no way to predict and handicap injuries, and that's why a lot of especially with people trying to put player over-unders and things, man, you don't know how many games they're going to miss. They're likely to miss some.
Yeah.
You just don't know how many. So, I mean, I stay away from all that. I mean, you can't, you drive yourself crazy trying to handicap injuries. You just can't do it. But at the end of the season, this team exceeded expectations. This team didn't. A lot of it's injuries.
Sure. How many?
A lot of it is injuries in the NFL because it's so close. Of course, the quarterbacks, you got to have a chance, but you're banged up before you play your first real game.
They were actually doing okay up until about 3 or 4 days ago, and it's kind of hit them all at once with some of these, some of these injuries. Clapp's injury, he started the game on Sunday. Taylor's injury, this all kind of just happened in the last few days to go with what they already had. That's before you get to, and look, Shaheed has had a very good camp, is not showing any effects of the injury. He's put on a little bit of weight in a good way. That's good, but he is coming off of a major injury. Olave is a concussion.
A concussion away from retirement.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary with him. So, those are a couple other guys, and it's not like you're terribly deep at wide receiver.
Right.
So all of those, Alvin Kamara has stayed very healthy through most of his career, but he's a 30-year-old running back. So
Man,
and I love the guy,
him,
but I do too.
I know.
I mean, put him in the Saints Hall of Fame and put his number up on the wall in the Superdome the day he hangs up his cleats. But he's a 30-year-old running back.
Why don't? He's a classic guy that could really help a contender, and he's a valuable piece that would really, I think, would be highly productive even at this stage of his career with a little bit more open space where you just can't, zero in on him. But man, he's so good. He's so good. I would just.
You know where you could trade him? They're not going to do this, but you know where you could trade him? Denver. As a playoff team a year ago, I know they drafted a running back in the second round, but Sean Payton certainly knows how to use him, and they have aspirations to win that division this year.
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
You're
right.
That'd be a great place to.
Sean Payton's so good at.
I don't know if they got the cap space for it, but
creating little wrinkles and just a lot of different looks and how to use the backs in a.
Well, you think he'd help Bo Nix? Good night.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I'm not into Bo Nix like, he's a – put Bo Nix on just another team with another coach. And I don't know. But you give a lot – Peyton, well, that's part of it, okay? Peyton helped Breeze too. As good as Breeze is.
Sure.
Peyton helped Breeze. But, man, come on.
he would help, but somebody's got to play running back, and it's not. That was another one. Devin Neal. We like the running back out of Kansas. He's going to miss pretty much all of camp, right? Yeah, he's going to be out till the regular season. So you didn't get a chance to really look.
What's
at
a record?
him.
Give me a record.
4-13.
I'm with you.
That's my best guess,
and
4 because they're playing a last place schedule. That they'll back in.
You picking a road team in Week 1 in Survivor?
You going to tell me Arizona?
Well, that's the temptation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not going to be many 7.5-point road favorites in the league this year. Much less in the first week.
I got knocked out. I got knocked out in week 2 last year. I really don't want to be out, that early.
You got knocked out in week 2?
Yeah, right.
That's horrible.
Right, you made it twice as long as you.
No, week 1.
Oh, we're here at Roca Pizzeria. Happy hour Tuesday to Friday, 2 until 6 p.m.
Well, Max, how about you? Where'd you get knocked out?
Week 2.
Week 2. Yeah, we had a banner. campaign last year.
Hey, but this is the year, Jimmy. We're going to Vegas. This is the year.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
right. We'll be in Vegas. a week and a day, 8 days.
I don't want to be the wet blanket on this thing, but we were in Vegas last year too, and we got knocked out in week 2.
No, but I'm saying, are we back in? Are we investing?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I'm still thinking about that.
Me and Max are. Max, you're in, right?
I'm in. This is the year. I didn't just say this is the year for no reason.
Yes. Oh, man.
Of course.
Randy McKay probably won't team up with us again, huh? Probably not.
See,
you can always give Massero.
I almost have to do this now because if you guys win,
bets
you're
on
gonna
the sea lines. Which one's going to hit the water first at the Cove in La Jolla?
If you two guys win and I'm not, and I don't get a share, then
can we do a side wager of who makes it furthest?
Yeah,
I think that's got to be a little competition.
Yes, and we got to do our in-house SEC Survivor pool.
That's a cool little thing that you were telling us about. Explain the rules to that. 'Cause it's a little bit different than NFL Survivor.
Forget the early weeks. When do we pick it up when they start?
Week 3.
Week 3. So week 3 through week 14. So 12 playing dates. You can only pick conference games only. You can only pick like most Survivors. You can only pick one SEC team. You can only use them once. But you can only go against a team twice.
That makes it a lot harder.
Charlie,
harder.
Come on, man. I've been doing this a little longer than most people putting these Survivor pools together. Yes, we're trying to provoke thought. We're trying to exercise the brain.
Yeah, we want to make it harder because it was too easy for us last year. We made it all the way to week 2.
We're stuck in our degenerative habits. Okay, at least we can try and grow. Okay, stimulate the brain, Charlie.
Just want to make it to Halloween. That's my goal. Just make it to Halloween, because by that time I'll have used up Mississippi State and probably Vandy.
You can use 12 of the 16.
Kentucky.
Why are you going to use State? You ain't using State.
No, I mean against.
Oh, yes. You only got 2 times. Yes,
right.
Because that would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd pick against State 8 times. Yes.
Make
No. This This requires a little bit more thought, strategy. Yes.
Strategized myself all the way to week 2 last year. Let me see if I can do a little better than that. I have done okay in some of the local pools before.
It's
so
like, you know.
You got to get a little lucky,
football
too.
contest law school, you know? I mean, it's just, or graduate school should be better. Yes.
The Ravens blew a 10-point lead at home to the Raiders in the fourth quarter. That's what it took to get me out of that thing last year.
Everybody has one of those stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pittsburgh lost at home to Arizona.
Well, New England got Cincinnati in week 1. I will not pick Cincinnati in week 1.
Week one.
I don't care how much Burrow plays
more.
in the preseason.
I think week 1 things happen more. That's the thing about it is it's a year-to-year league. We don't know who's going to be good. We don't know who's going to be bad.
And that's why week 1 is talk about a survive in advance. Yeah. Just give me the biggest favorite I can get.
We're at Roca Pizzeria today on Government Street. You know, one of the great things over here, happy hour Tuesday through Friday. Now, we're closed on Mondays here at Roca, but happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m., half off all house cocktails, draft beer, and glass of wine. And our house cocktails, we kind of rotate seasonally, so it's warm. We do have some more summery, refreshing type of cocktails that are over here, and so really good stuff. Let's see Fadinky eating his grilled shrimp, salad over here. So
looks pretty good.
Really, yes, looks delicious. And so, man, where some restaurants kind of slow down in summer, we also rotate our menu. So we got like the fresh heirloom tomatoes with the burrata cheese, that salad and different things. We've been very busy over here. So we're glad that the kids are back in school and a lot of the families are back in town after getting that last little vacation push in before the school year starts. But, man, over here on Government Street, and you can start with half off select pizzas like the margarita pizza and some others. So, and that Neapolitan-style pizza, it is delicious. And you eat the pizza, and it doesn't weigh you down, man. It is light. It's much lighter, and we get it all the time for lunch, and boom, we still out and about, whereas some pizzas will just kind of, man, you're going to need a nap after that. So it's not just pizza, but we do have pizza. We've got a great selection of craft beers over here on tap as well, and we can attest, we see the bartenders preparing all the things that go into their specialty cocktails. So really, their mixologists over here do a wonderful job. Roca Pizzeria, it's not just for pizza, but it's really good, too, on Government Street in Mid-City.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I want to invite you on Saturday night to the 5th annual Knockout MS Gala at LaBerge. It's from 7 until 10. I'll be emceeing again this year. The Knockout MS Foundation is doing great work here in Baton Rouge. We're gathering funds. They provide equipment for those that are suffering with the disease. They help with power chairs and stair lifts, bath and shower chairs, weighted blankets, MRI costs, cooling vests, a lot of other supplies and things that those that are fighting MS need. Christina and her staff have done a terrific job. Glad to help them out. You can purchase tickets right now at knockoutmsfoundation.com. That's this Saturday night at LaBerge at 7 o'clock. The Brewers won again yesterday. I bring it up because Paul Skeens got hit about as hard as I've seen him get hit in really just about any of his starts since he got called up. He gave up the first 2 of the home runs. Brewers ended up winning this thing 14-0. Skeens did,
but he gave up 4.
Yeah, he gave up 4 runs and gave up two home runs and four of the runs. Yeah, he didn't get. They got him out after they ran him up to 92 pitches in 4 innings. So he admittedly that then he goes, they're hot right now, and I didn't have my best stuff today,
right.
And they jumped on it. This is the second 11-game winning streak of the Brewers in the season. That's only happened twice since World War II. So this is kind of historical stuff that they're doing. This hasn't happened in the National League since 1935, before World War II. So what they're doing right now is they're playing better baseball than anybody could expect. And they hit still a favorite for the Cy Young Award, although that has tightened up just a touch, hitting Skeens yesterday, and they win their 11th straight. You were asking me about Pat Murphy yesterday. Would say that locked up manager of the year maybe even before this, but certainly now.
It's pretty. He got hit a little bit harder, Charlie, on April 8th against St. Louis, where he gave up 5 earned runs. That's his season high. But very, very similar to same park, same team back on June 25th, where in only 4 innings he gave up 4 earned runs also. So he's Milwaukee is just on a tear, and they're just – and this was after a 3-game set against a probable playoff team in the New York Mets, a team where the Mets have the second highest payroll in baseball behind the Dodgers. I mean, top of their lineup, when you talk about Lindor, Soto, Polar Bear Pete Alonso, who just became the all-time home run career leader for the Mets. The last, I think it was last night, and I mean they're loaded up there, and all were come from behind fashion, down three runs, down 5 runs, and so it was a lot of kind of emotion. And here come the lowly Pirates in, and no, they're just putting it on them, and as ineffective or below his normal stuff as Skeens was it was still like opening the floodgates when the relievers came in.
Yeah,
I mean, it was worse. So he's I wouldn't say it was his worst ever, because I just pointed those 2 others, but it matches his low point. Previously against Milwaukee and St. Louis, and he's still, I don't know, what is he still the favorite? Minus $3 or something.
$3.15.
Who's second?
Zach Wheeler's still second, but Christopher Sanchez is making a move.
And his guy doesn't even get an All-Star game. They want to put Mizorowski in there with 25 innings.
His ERA since the beginning of May is an eyelash over 2, and he's been pitching into the 7th and 8th innings quite a bit. So you're getting plus 600 on him right now. That's not the worst bet I've seen.
Throwing today, right?
Yeah, I believe he is. So Wheeler's still at plus 275, but Sanchez at plus 600.
Yeah,
it has been fantastic.
What's
3 months.
What's Skeens' ERA right now? Is it
just
under
over
2 yet?
No, it's over 2. It went to 2.08, I think.
Okay,
it is.
He's still got a better WHIP.
Yeah.
Still got a better ERA. Strikeouts to walk ratio is 5-1 for Sanchez. Just under 5-1.
Yeah, his.
How many strikeouts? 151.
He's got 166 strikeouts and 36 walks.
So he's better there. So he's better still in all categories.
He is, and he's still a favorite. Now let me ask you this.
Yeah, I'd say minus $3.
Do you think he's going to qualify for the ERA title with just 15 more innings, so he's going to get there? But do you think the Pirates will scale him back or shut him down at some point in September? They're not playing for anything. Are there 3 extra starts that they're just going to?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm asking. Really, I don't know either, but I'm asking the question.
No, there's a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't think so. I think the middle ground is he'd be on like that pitch count last year. Sort of that 85, 90 pitch count.
Yeah, and they really have not let. He's gone deeper into games, but he's only gotten 108 is his top pitch count for the season.
Right, he was right at 100 early in the season for like 9 or 10 starts in a row. He was averaging right at 100.
He hasn't gone over 100 pitches in a game since before the All-Star break at the end of June. So they've kind of been, and for a while there in July. There were some strange games where they pulled him out in the 5th inning where he was only in the 70s pitch-wise.
How much last year carryover that he pitched at such a high level, does that give him a little juice for this year?
Some,
So
some.
we're what? Each of them have about 6 starts left, 6, 7. And
Something like that.
Basically once a week.
Yeah.
Once a week. So we got 2, like 6. About
Right.
6. So
if they pull him
it's
back on
still-
the last 2, let's just say
that wouldn't really impact it enough. He's going to have a couple more of these for Sanchez to get him.
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Well, that's why you're getting plus 600. You know, it's not a not a bad price.
So,
I suspect Skeens will bounce back. I ain't worried about him.
Pittsburgh manager went out after his guy got rung up on a call 3, a bottom of the 4. I'm sorry. Top 5. And he went out and went nuts. Well, he wasn't just going because they're down, I don't know, 4-0, and he was pissed because Skeens got squeezed in the inning before. And so he and they showed it. It was actually the Milwaukee Brewers broadcast team, but they showed the one, and it was a strike. And so is Milwaukee now out there winning, getting the benefit of the doubt, all of a sudden become, some of these things? I don't know, but the Pittsburgh, he went out to defend Skeens. Skeens clearly did not. Those were not cheap shots. The little guy. Friedel, I think, was leading, not Friedel, but I forget his name, but he's not a power hitter, and he jacked it out, pretty good. And the other one wasn't cheap either, and his strikeout total was matched or was his worst of the seasons. No, he didn't have his best stuff, and they're hot as hell. But they also, the manager went out there to get tossed. It was Earl Weaver-esque, Charlie.
So you turn around and you tell your pitching coach, I'm going to get thrown out right now.
Yeah, he's protected Skeens.
Sure.
He's trying to, he's protected Skeens.
Valuable commodity.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of South Louisiana for over 50 years. So just went over to the Bluebonnet and Burbank branch a couple of days ago to do a little business. That's right. The ultimate endorsement that I've got some investments with the United Community Bank and some accounts. So contact our great team of bankers, Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, yesterday, Paul Stone and I, and it's going to be every day, and it's not just going to be for the college football conference previews from a handicapping perspective, but it's also going to be our picks on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. our time, Central Time, we go live on the College Sports Rush YouTube channel. Max, tell them how to subscribe for that.
Yeah, subscribe, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts as well. College Sports Rush. College Sports Rush, look for that. If you look up Sports Bettor's Paradise, you'll probably find it as well. But we're under the College Sports Rush YouTube channel umbrella now. So go check that out, 3 o'clock live every Tuesday, Thursday.
All right, so here's Paul Stone. We talked about the ACC yesterday, and, well, everybody's picked to win it. But are you willing to lay a little juice for the Clemson Tigers to win the ACC? Of course, winning the conference does not count the LSU game. They could lose that game and run the table, or maybe have a little wiggle room as well. Their competition is SMU. SMU loses some. Uses a big chunk of their roster last year, but they've got their quarterback who was really good last year. He wasn't good. He was awful in the Penn State playoff game, but he was really good over the course of the season. And we all know SMU's got a lot of money for their NIL player budget. And you also have Louisville, who beat Clemson at Clemson last year, beat them badly. Braum he's won a lot of games in his first couple of years at his alma mater at the University of Louisville. And Miami, we know about their player budget. Carson Beck, he's with the Miami Hurricanes now, and they have a pretty good roster as well. But here's Paul Stone. Here's a few minutes, him talking about the Clemson Tigers and whether or not it's worth a bet.
You're listening to Sports Bettor's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Jimmy, it's not like the ACC is going to be easy pickings this year by any stretch of the imagination. But just looking over all the teams in this conference, the Tigers, to me, are head and shoulders above the rest of the league. From a roster standpoint, you start at that quarterback position, and you talked about Cade Klubnik. For his first 2.5 years, I think a lot of Clemson fans were probably wondering, and college fans in general, whether he was ever going to live up to that 5-star pedigree that he came to Clemson with out of Austin Westlake High School, about 15 miles from the University of Texas campus. But late in the year, those last 4 or 5 games, he really came to life. It was almost like a switch flipped or something. He started playing well. And you mentioned the 2 games at the end of the year, big games, the ACC championship game against SMU, that 34-31 victory, and then against Texas, the Tigers did lose 38-24, but man, they lit that Longhorns defense up. And that Longhorns defense last year, one of the best in the nation for sure. So he really, came to be, I think, in the end of the 2024 season. And who knows what's in store, for 2025. I think he'll only be better with confidence. They've got that veteran offensive line that you talked about. They've got one of the top receiving corps in the country. Their defense, you mentioned, they got 5-star guys up front, defensive tackle Peter Woods, defensive end TJ Parker, one of the best defensive ends in the nation. Linebacker Sammy Brown was a 5-star guy. So they've got a really good defensive group as well. This year, as far as their schedule, they avoid Miami. They get SMU there in Death Valley. They do have road trips, as you touched on, to Georgia Tech and Louisville, but they'll be favored by 6 points or more in both of those as we stand today. And outside of an injury to Klubnik, and he's proven himself to be durable to this point, I just don't see a world in which Clemson does not make it to the ACC championship game. I feel really good about that. I think they're the best team in the league. I think they've got a quarterback who found some confidence at the end of last year that will carry over to this year. And you mentioned Dabo Swinney and some of the criticism that he's faced, probably fairly, that he has not participated or was slow to participate in the new world, the new era of the transfer portal. But I'll tell you one thing about winning the transfer portal battle, in my opinion, is roster maintenance. And he maybe was not bringing in any players for those first couple of years, but he wasn't losing any to speak of hardly at all either. So that's a big part of it. He's got a veteran team. I think they're going to win the ACC. I like Clemson minus 125 to win the conference there at Bet Rivers.
Insinuating that maybe Dabo's hardline approach, no transfer portal, to just shut it out to his roster building, which was a detriment, but also because they were so focused on maintaining their roster and preventing their players from exiting via the transfer portal, have they benefited for this season where they have so many returning pieces?
Yes, and that was what he wanted to do all along. He never really wanted – he kind of went kicking and screaming into this. It was some teams build through the draft and other teams were more active in free agency. That's essentially what this is. He wanted to build through recruiting. Brian Kelly wanted to do this a year ago. He said, we're not going to go buy players. And he's like, nope. There's too much volatility where you can do everything right by a player. They can have play. It used to be,
right.
Well, if they don't play, and they can still leave. I mean, starters leave. Somebody puts more money on the table, even if you've got a what you think is a rock solid deal. So he had to get into this a little bit. But I think Paul's absolutely right. That culture that was hell-bent on keeping everybody that got there in the fold is benefiting him this year.
Klubnik finished strong. Did not have a great South Carolina game.
No.
Did not.
No.
Now, the interception at the end, that's not on him. I mean, he hit the guy in his hands.
No.
He bobbled it and when they were in field goal range to tie it against South Carolina. But if Syracuse doesn't beat Miami and their season ends right there and he plays in some nondescript bowl game, doesn't have the SMU in the conference championship. He doesn't have that impressive game.
The monster game
we would have
in the playoff,
against a really good defense on the road in Texas. We might look at a difference, but he did. I get it, but I mean, is he a dependable commodity now?
I think he is. I don't like him better than Nussmeier, but he's
a different player.
He's the next guy.
He's more of a dual threat.
the All-American team came out this weekend. Klubnik was 1, Nussmeier was 2. I'd have had them flip, but I would have had them. Yeah, but I'd have had them as my first 2 guys.
What happened to our boy Drew Aller?
He didn't make the first 2 teams on the one I looked at. For me, with Clemson, it's where do you want to put your money? I've already got action on them to make the playoff because that's my favorite play. But I laid 200 there. This is minus 125 to win the conference. So
here's the deal.
I don't mind playing both of them.
How are you going to keep them out of the conference championship game?
I
don't play Notre Dame.
Right.
They
don't play Miami in the regular season.
The 3 tricky games are on the road at Louisville, at Georgia Tech, who's good, and who I think is a top 25 team, if not close. And they got a lot returning, experienced, really good quarterback, and a good coach as well. And then at North Carolina, which could be, we don't know. It could be a little tricky. Is there a chance? Carolina's schedule is really soft too, but they could be better.
So here's
Bill Arnsparger came in here and made immediate impact. I mean, they were 6-6 last year. You don't think they're going to be better coach this year?
I do. So here's the thing with Clemson, the conference championship versus the playoff. The conference championship, you throw the LSU game out the window. It doesn't matter. On the other hand, Clemson could have a better record by as much as 2 games going into the conference championship game, and it still comes down to the 1 game. They could best Miami by 2 games in the standings, have to play them, and have to beat them again to win the conference championship. So,
people respect their roster. Okay, going in, if they're 10-1, 11-1, and lose the conference championship game, they could make it, and that's why you're paying the higher tax.
That's right. That's
okay,
right. And that's why I like it.
But if you I just don't know how you're going to keep them from getting to the conference championship game, finishing the top 2 in that league with their roster, their depth. And they're going to be way more than minus 25, whoever they play in Charlotte. I mean,
a money line for the championship game.
The highest-ranked team, Miami. If they play Miami, they're going to be close to at least a touchdown favorite.
I like both bets. What I like best about Paul's bet is you throw the LSU game out.
That's right.
That doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. So,
that's right.
I'm with him.
So don't forget our friends over at Workbox and Workbox Services, my buddy Martin Padial and all the great staff in their new office, allowing us to, just expanding our reach, expanding our service all the way down to the Gulf region, come through New Orleans to Baton Rouge to Lafayette, all the way to Lake Charles. So Workbox Service, it can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. So that is anything from, you need the stuff, safety requirements, entering a plant. You can have everything that you need going into there, or you got just a little bit more land and you want a portable shed, and you want it customized a certain way where you can have a little bit of some shelving, make it into a workshop where maybe you can store some part storage, store some some lawn equipment and things like that, and have a little bit of a shop where you can work in it. Change your oil, change your blades on different things, whatever it is that you need. They can do it for any type of purpose, and we'll customize it for you. So give us a call at Workbox. So the best way to reach us is 343-4886, 343-4886, and WorkboxLLC.com.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com and LouisianaSports.net. Jimmy, we talk about resources all the time and what you're willing to invest in order to upgrade your product. Can you buy yourself from the lower half of the Power Four conferences into the upper half? Okay?
Texas Tech?
Well, Texas Tech is certainly the test case right now, and we got to throw Kansas in there now too after yesterday's gift from one of their donors. David Booth gave them $300 million yesterday. This is one of the biggest gifts that has ever been given to, and this is just to the football program. Okay.
Oh, okay. That was my next question.
$300 million to the football program. They're going to take $75 million of this and finish the stadium. There's a district around there with retail and housing and all that stuff. They've been working on this for several years. They're going back into the stadium.
Very nice.
Yeah. So $75 million to finish that. The rest of it, the other $25 million, is going to what they're calling an annual revenue stream, which suggests endowment me for NIL.
This is massive. This is critical for Kansas because you don't want to fall into Stanford. If this whole geographic, conference realignment and thing, when Harbaugh's there, or right after he let in Luck still there. I forget the old coach who took over for a little bit, sustained it for a period, and then it started going south under him. If they had done it there with the Harbaugh Luck era, they wouldn't have got left out. They wouldn't have been left out. I mean, they would have been much more attractive. Kansas, Leipold, and this is your last year, Jalen Daniels. So he's been hurt, but he can be really good. They also have a favorable schedule. My point is, I think they'll be 7-5 this year, roughly, give or take a game. But in a bowl game for Kansas is outstanding. But as deep as it is in the Big 12, it's not a given that they're going to have the wins. My point is, hold on to your guys, maximize it, get these guys while your boosters are still. Would this guy give this donation 10 years ago? I doubt it.
Probably not.
It'll go into the basketball team.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Or at least a chunk, huh?
Sure.
So, no, this is pivotal. I mean, it's a big deal for Kansas.
This is the gift that keeps on giving, because this will fund their NIL budget every year. Okay.
Well, now doing $300 million annually.
No. But they're going to take over 2/3 of that, and they're going to put it into an endowment, and that's going to feed the beast every year. Now, it's not the last donation they're going to get, but when you start with $225 million, it's a pretty good place to start.
That'll get say let's just say there's $20 million or $15 million, whatever it is. It'll last for
a
good stretch.
Yeah. Cody Campbell, the guy you're talking about over at Texas Tech, gave $55 million in NIL contracts for 2025.
Yes.
That's to the entire department, though. He's a big softball guy. They're going to win a softball national title,
but
he's going to die.
You see the players that got football. They got Stanford's best defensive end. They got this guy. I think a player from Georgia Tech. One of their best players. Georgia Tech's good. I mean, they cherry pick pretty good. No, they are the NIL king in the Big 12. Not even close.
There's some rich donors out there that for years it was T. Boone Pickens, and then at Oklahoma State, and nobody was in his stratosphere. Now we got other guys that are, 9-figure
at programs that need it.
At programs that were never
right.
Kansas football was. They had the 1 year with Mangino, but they've never been terribly relevant. Will they be?
Yeah, keep in mind, Rich Rodriguez was the offense coordinator in West Virginia. He was getting some offers. He went and visited Lubbock. He said, I can't get players here.
Yeah.
He said, no, I got to turn this down.
Right. And now you can get players anywhere if you get the cash.
Little T-Boone. What's his name again?
Go live in Lubbock.
His oil company, he just sold it, the Texas Tech alum.
Oh, Cody Campbell?
Yeah, he sold it $8 billion maybe.
I'll take your word for it.
No, Paul Stone talks about him a lot.
Yeah, he got plenty of money. All right, hour number 2, Scott Rabelais with us when we come back here live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
With a croissant and a wine spritzer, we bring in Scott Rabelais. Rab, how you doing?
Oh, that sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on this day a year ago. We were flying home from the Olympics, my wife and I, and yes, there were a couple of good croissants to be had. in Paris. Believe me.
We'll bring you over here at Roca for one of the quality juice drinks that we got over here. Come join us for lunch one time. All right, we're inside of 3 weeks. We've seen enough practices to have formed an opinion. So I'm not going to ask you about what stood out because we've kind of been through that. So I want to get into some more specific position battles. And you guys had a chance to talk to a couple of players yesterday. So let's start with one of them there, and it is I believe he corrected everybody. It is Barian Brown, not Barian Brown, correct?
Barian Brown. No, I want to say Barian, but it's like Barian. It's more like Barian.
Okay, all right. Yeah. The wide receiver. This room is stacked, okay? You've got Chris Hilton. You've got Aaron Anderson, who led the team in receptions a year ago. You've got Brown, who has certainly turned heads. You got Nick Anderson. You've got Xavier Thomas. How do you expect this playing time to shake out?
It's been a heavy rotation, in practice. You're seeing these guys, and I would throw in Kyle Parker as well.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of him. As well, and a little Justin Hill once in a while. He's been very good. Shown some flashes, I would say, that he could contribute. They're going to start with three. Obviously they're going to be in a 3 wide receiver lineup a lot of times, and you imagine if they start the game with Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, and Nick Anderson, but you could see them starting with Barian Brown out there. Barian Brown. See, I'm still messing up on his name. I thought he was more with the 2s at the start of practice, but he seems like he's come on a little bit and has been more with the 1s often. But I think any of those guys are pretty interchangeable, Charlie, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's different starting lineups for different games. And I don't think the starting lineup means a lot if you're talking to those guys all being healthy and active and available. I think you can see any combination of those 6 guys anytime, and it's the depth is great, and they've all done a great job. Boy, the catch here, you heard about the catch Xavier Thomas made in traffic in the end zone yesterday, in like triple coverage. Went up and got the ball. So there's been a lot of good plays by the receivers in preseason camp. Definitely one of the highlights.
Yeah, I'm not as interested in who goes out for the first play as I'm interested in snap count. And there is room for all of these guys to rotate in and play some. I think the most dangerous formation that they have is if Hilton and Brown are on opposite sides and Anderson's in the slot if you're going to go 3 wide receivers. I think that puts the maximum amount of stress on the defense because that's the 2 fastest guys you got on the outside, and your leading receiver from a year ago in Anderson, who's pretty sure-handed, and I think as long as he's healthy, is a real threat to lead the team in receiving yards again. So they're all going to play. You also got a chance to talk to Trey Green yesterday, and one of the things that caught people's attention was his attention to weight gain. Since basketball is in his rearview mirror, he's not going to play basketball anymore. And the weight on him that he has gained so far looks good, and it is hopefully going to help him out in his improvement as a blocker. And he talked a little bit about that yesterday.
He did, and Charlie, we should all carry a weight as well as Trey Green does.
Yeah, I'd like to be 6'7" just one day in my life, right?
I know. He said he was 252 in the bowl game. He's 245 right now, and he'd like to get back up to 252. That he's trying to has put on 20 pounds in preseason camp. They were like, "How are you doing that?" I mean, this is in camp. He said, "Eating a lot of soul food." You said healthy soul food, but he said they eat a lot of soul food, but he's carrying it well. Yeah, he's reluctantly. I got from his tone reluctantly putting basketball in the rearview mirror, but I think he's been convinced that football is where his best financial opportunities lie. There's a lot of 6'7" guys in basketball. Obviously, there's not a lot of 6'7" tight ends who can run like he does and go up and get the ball and outpoint the defensive back. So He looks great. If you told me he was, I guess I'd figure this about the weight that was right. But if he adds a little bit more, I think he'll be just fine as well. And that seems to be his target at about 7 more pounds.
Like a number of great high school basketball players that have come through here that wanted to do both. Marcus Spears, Michael Clayton, Corey Webster, and just said, you know what? No, this is where my money is on the football field. I think Trey Des is making the right decision there.
It's got to bulk up a little bit to be a better blocker. Got to be a little better blocker. So he's learning those things from Bauer Sharp. Everyone speaks very highly of Bauer Sharp, his motor, his leadership, his and LSU likes to go 2 tight ends a lot in the Brian Kelly, what he likes with offense. So I think you'll see a lot of him as well.
Is very common, Charlie, in during my dad's funeral, and I've spoken to this guy before, but Robert Royal.
Yeah.
And because Rohan and Robert and Sertan and all these guys were talking, and that unbelievable AAU basketball team that they had, my dad's assistants along with Sid Edwards, they combined their teams, and he was looking at the end of the bench, and he thought because his uncle played at NBA, and he was a basketball guy, and he said, man, but this football thing might have to work, So,
I understand that. And one of the things that Brian Kelly said yesterday, and Richard Dixon pointed this out on our podcast in the last probably 3 or 4 games of last year, and Richard certainly knows enough about playing a position. He says he is a willing blocker. Okay, he is not a good blocker at this point in his life, but he is a willing blocker, and that's half the battle with. I'm sorry, a guy who started out as a basketball guy. He wants to stick his nose in there, and he's not afraid of contact. I think that's going to pay big dividends for him. So, watching him because he is a matchup nightmare, which is what Blake Baker said the other day. All right, let's flip it onto the offensive line. We have seen 5 players take what I would call significant snaps at offensive guard in this camp. They seem to have clear-cut starters, but I think that competition brews, I think, into the regular season, Scott. I could be wrong there. What is your favorite combination at the 2 guard spots?
I think G.J. Chester is clearly better at the guard position. He's at left guard, and then Josh Thompson, the right guard. I wouldn't rule out Paul Mabinga at left or Carius Kern at right, and obviously somebody's going to get hurt, right? I mean, we saw one of the offensive linemen, I think it was Weston Davis, limp off for a little while yesterday. He just got rolled up, and they had to work on him, and he went back in. But somebody's going to get hurt, and so you need these other guys to play. But I think it's been most consistently Chester and Thompson in those positions, But Kern and Mabinga can play. I mean, Mabinga had his ups and downs last year, but I think he's probably as a redshirt sophomore, he's probably got enough experience where you can count on him a little more this year. Although overarching picture, guys, I still have a lot of concerns about their ability to gain yards in the short yardage goal line situations for running game.
So the tackles, I think, are entrenched, but you're right. If somebody gets hurt, here's my problem with Kern. I think he could be a starting guard at some point in this season, but right now I also consider him the next tackle. So if something happens to one of the tackle, I mean, I don't want to put too much on a freshman. He's been here, for 15 minutes. I'm not trying to overload him with what he's got to learn. So I would put him at guard because I think his path to playing time may be a little bit quicker there, but ultimately I think he's a tackle. So what to do there? One guy you didn't mention that I like an awful lot is Cohen Eccles. I think that there's some real upside there, and I think he's in the mix. I agree with you that Chester and Thompson are the starters for now. I'm not sure it's going to be that way all season, but we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe not, and it may be necessity. It may be injury. It may be just they're not producing. Hopefully, for LSU's sake, they're going to be more productive as run blockers.
Let's switch to another position where we've seen multiple guys get significant snaps, and that's at the safety position. TaMarcus Cooley from NC State. Jordan Gilbert started all last year here. and I love the I love the transfer from Houston. So what say you about how this may shake out? And I didn't even mention Deshaun Spears, who started a few games last year, back at the safety position.
Yeah, they started camp, Charlie, with 5 guys, trying to work it out, who was looking the best, who's going to wind up with the 2 starting spots, the most playing time. They started with Cooley and Gilbert a lot. Spears and Taviano kind of got eliminated. That left 4. Halsey, as I'm sure you'll talk about many times, he wasn't here in the spring. He was a later transfer from Houston, so he was coming from behind. But you can see you can almost see it every practice visually that he's coming on, and it looks like I was talking to Reed Darcy, one of our writers who's been to every practice. I missed a few last week with the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, and he feels it's going to be Cooley and Halsey. Spears and Gilbert, sure they're going to play. Toviano's going to play, but those guys look like the starters, and they've looked good. Especially Halsey is impressed.
I'm a big Halsey fan. A big Halsey fan. What he did at Houston last year was impressive for a team that didn't exactly blow the doors off talent-wise, and he stood out. And he's got the thickest legs I've seen on a safety in my memory. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Scott, anybody else stand out that I didn't mention that you wanted to mention that Bears watching as we close in on a couple of weeks to the opener?
Yeah, a couple of things. Going back to Barry and Brown, it was the best quote I've heard in the preseason camp so far. Someone asked him, "When did you first know you were fast?" He said, "When I was a sophomore in high school, and I won the 100, 200, and 400 at state." Somebody's like, "Yeah, that would do it."
Yeah, that's a pretty good indication.
He's quite fast, and he feels very confident in his fastness. The other one is Bernard Gooden, the defensive tackle. Again, talking to Reed, who's like Reed and Koki. I've seen every single practice. Reed and Koki Riley, and he thinks it's going to be him and Ahmad Bro, who are going to be the starters of defensive tackles, beating out Guillory and McKinley. Now, maybe there's some way to go, but everyone has been singing Bernard Gooden's praises all camp long, and just talking to someone who's been to every practice, and I've seen most of them as well. He seems to make a standout play. He makes you notice him every time, and at a position where it's hard to get noticed sometimes, and so that's the smart money, as you guys probably would say. That's the smart money right now.
There you go.
I like him an awful lot, and you're right. He stands out. He makes plays. I would be wary of using him at 270 pounds for too many snaps. My closer's great if I throw him for 1 inning. If I throw him for 3 innings, it doesn't work as well. I would love to see him come in and be fresh legs on passing downs. I would love to be able to see him go in the fourth quarter and take snaps where maybe he's only had a dozen or so snaps in the first 3 quarters, and you can use those fresh legs. I think his effectiveness will diminish if he's forced to play 50, 55 snaps, and none of them should have to play that many because of the depth that they have at that position. So I'm with you. I like him. You want to start him, fine. I wouldn't overuse him, and I could be completely wrong. Maybe he holds up, but he's a good 20 to 25 pounds lighter than most of these other cats, and in some cases with, the guy like Guillory is well over 300 pounds. I just wouldn't want to get him worn down too much against 325-pound guards in the Southeastern Conference at an elevated snap count. That's me. But I do like the kid. I think he's going to be a real asset.
Point well taken. And I think you got 8 defensive linemen across the front. They're going to rotate guys. They're going to have if everybody's healthy, they're going to have a great rotation. And defensive tackle is one of those positions. And it's not to discount Bro or Guillory that much. I'm sorry. Not to discount Guillory or McKinley that much. They're all going to play. And I like you. You want fresh guys in there. Somebody's got a sustained drive. What's going to happen? The team's moving down the field. You got to rotate those guys in there and put somebody fresh in there, and it'll be any combination. But yeah, Gooden could be a guy that you use in that position, certainly.
Last year, we did a station survey on who LSU could afford to lose the least. What player could they afford to lose the least besides the quarterback? Okay, we took the quarterback out of it. Jacoby and Guillory got as many votes as anybody else because they simply didn't have other guys. Well, a year later, not only is he not in the starting lineup right now, but he's in a 4, maybe even a 5-man rotation. That gives you an idea, year-over-year depth, where they were a year ago at this time and where they are now. It's one of the things I'm pretty encouraged about. Scott, we appreciate your time always. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Here at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street at Mid-City.
Don't forget my friends over at Go Chevrolet and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. Go Chevrolet's in LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is in Plaquemine. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard are doing a great job. I drive a vehicle. I'll just talk about the vehicles from the Go Automotive Group. I drive a Chevrolet Tahoe from Go Chevrolet. My buddy Lee Carney was a star, man. He's kind of humble about it, man. Those Bel Air teams and look, some of the best teams ever come through. We know about with Glen Oaks. They gave Glen Oaks all they could handle back in the day. But he's taken that team, that competitive spirit and a competitive background to the automobile industry as well. Been in the industry for a long, long time and now has his places at these two joints. And, all of the great thing is you can go to their website at gochevrolet.com and look at what the exact inventory that they have online. If you don't see exactly what you want, hey, we can custom build it through our website and order it. That's what I did. It takes a couple of months to get in, but you're going to have exactly what you want: the model, the rims, the rear sensors, front sensors. Leather, whatever interior, you name it, the color of it. You can build it through their website as well. Well, give Lee a call at toll-free 866-526-3715, 866-526-3715 to set up your appointment today. And look, mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing at both Go Chevrolet in LaPlace and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Your outdoor kitchen or on-site on campus for LSU football season or the Saints games as well. So they have, if you like to do your own cooking for tailgating, or like me, the outdoor kitchen, this is a little slice of heaven. You will not. I am looking forward to Saturday morning going down there and loading up on some gear, man. Outdoor burners, pots to boil your seafood and other stuff. Jambalaya pots and burners and just everything you need to do on-site cooking. It's over at the Thibodeau store and the Pierre Part store.
Pierre Part store on Highway 70 in Pierre Part, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. And online, it's thethibodeaustore.com.
Wes, Tommy Fleetwood, tough one, man.
I was going to say first, you guys sound like you're ready for Death Valley with all the tailgating gear.
The real Death Valley. The real Death Valley.
Yeah, we got to get you down here. We got to get you down here one time, Wes. You will be fed. Trust me, my friend. You will be fed. Well,
I'd love it, man. I'd love it. We got to make that happen at some point. And we got to make Tommy Fleetwood happen to win a damn TCA Tour event here stateside because he finds ways to lose them. And I actually started to have belief, guys. I actually started to have belief when Scotty Scheffler had kind of gone away, and it's like, okay, they've got some distance, so he's not hunting him down. And then all of a sudden, Justin Rose, who I thought Tommy Fleetwood got a break having him pairing on Sunday instead of having to be paired with Scheffler in that final group to look at number one in the world across from you for 18 holes. And then Justin Rose takes a bunch of birdies in a row, and Tommy Fleetwood comes up short again.
When was your belief? At what point of the round? And did it alter how he finished round three?
I think a little bit. I was just looking at the driving accuracy numbers, and he was number one. He had hit 13 of 13 fairways, and then he missed the fairway on Saturday, which led to that two-shot swing, which only gave him a one-shot lead instead of a three-shot lead, but put Rose in the pairing. And then he was so slow to get out of the gate on Sunday. He was like, come on, man, do something. Then he made that 33-footer. It's like, okay, there we go. That's a start. Then he makes three in a row, and it's like, Now he's got a 2-shot lead where he's going to the 16th tee and the easiest hole on the golf course. The par 5, well, everybody else makes birdie, and he only makes the par, and it's like, uh-oh, here we go.
I forgot, Max, he had a 2-stroke lead going into that 16. I know, Max, you that was a key for you when he parred that one and didn't.
Well, I think it got to a 1-shot lead, but you kind of expected it to get to 2 with a very gettable par 5 on 16. That's what he needed to do, and ultimately didn't.
What did he do in the first 3 rounds on that hole? Wes, do you remember?
I think he birdied all 3 days, if memory serves me correctly. Did not do that on because it got cut to 1 like Max was saying, but it's like, okay, this is a gimme, so he's going to have a 2-shot lead going into 17 on Sunday. Didn't happen.
Yeah, so it's, you know what, on the flip side, though, J.J. Spawn has kind of built a little reputation for being clutch, huh?
He's kind of a dude
even
now,
though he lost,
he?
Yeah,
he got on the Ryder Cup team, or it's not official, but he's going to be after winning that U.S. Open. He's going to qualify on points. It's kind of like, hey, maybe this guy's got a little something here later on this fall test page for the Ryder Cup. Was very clutch, but a great playoff with him and Rose, so I'm trying to enjoy it as a fan, but I couldn't enjoy it when Tommy Fleetwood just gave that away.
He did. You know, Max looked it up. He did indeed birdie on 16, the first 3. I'll give Max credit. I like to give him a hard time, but I think he's honest when he said, Max, you were expecting him to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah,
even that late.
It's one thing that he made a bunch of birdies to get himself in the mix. It's once he gets in the mix that all of a sudden his body language changes. He looks a little tighter. He just looks different. The normal loose-going, comfortable Tommy Fleetwood that all the fans like, he just looks different as soon as the pressure comes on down the stretch in the final few holes when he's in contention.
Do you guys know what Rose's odds were, live odds, before he had that 5 straight birdie run from 13 to 17?
I think he was about 40, 50 to 1.
Really?
Did you see anything like that?
I think that's about right. Yeah, because I was monitoring it to see, okay, when do I have to get out? And, had to get out a little bit, but I got out on Spawn first, and then it's like, well, now I got to just take Rose and cover that. So, it didn't necessarily work out. But, yeah, Rose he was way down there. He looked like he had fallen off the pace.
Wow. What would you put on Spawn before this season, back, like November, his chances or his odds to make it on the U.S. Ryder Cup team? 75
probably,
to 1?
75 to 100 to 1, somewhere in that range, because he's been a quality player, and he won, I think, the Valero in Texas like 3 years ago. That was his only PGA Tour win, but you see him several times a year on leaderboards because he's so good on approach and with iron, but just could never get it across the finish line, and then finally did at Oakmont. So, yeah, he was a definite long shot, kind of like Brian Harmon was a couple years ago before he won the Open.
When we talk about these playoffs, a lot of people, casual golf fans, don't really care about the FedEx Cup playoffs. He was one of those guys who was desperate for his card last year. He finished 9th place, 3rd place at the Wyndham right before, so he was somebody who was fighting for his tour card, barely got into the top 125. He didn't even make the playoffs, but he was one of these guys who was just fighting for his tour card at the end of last year and has obviously put on an incredible season this time.
Well, Wes, one more thing before we look forward to this week. And because of Fleetwood's pass, was your hedge alert higher with Fleetwood with his pass than your normal weekend?
It was. I just wish I would have timed it better, to be honest with you, because I was looking Saturday night. I was like, you know what? If you're going to take on Scotty Scheffler and take on these top couple guys, J.J. Spawn at 12 to 1 wasn't a bad bet. Did I bet it at 12 to 1? Of course I didn't.
Right.
I didn't have the foresight to actually click. But I thought, you know what? This guy's hitting his irons really well. Like, I feel like he's gonna somewhat be in the mix there down the stretch. Didn't think he and Rose would be in the playoff, and Tommy Fleetwood would be given an interview tied for 3rd.
Saturday, about 13 or 14, where Scheffler's 3 back, I took him at plus 330. Now, when we get to Sunday, and I thought he was a favorite. He was basically Pickett at one point on Sunday because I was monitoring that very closely to see. And I did, to your point too, I hedge Spawn first at 8-1. And that's exactly the number I got on Justin Rose when he showed some life as well. So you're never going to get that full price. I mean, that's tricky, but and the only one I didn't, Fleetwood. So it's pulling for everybody, but Fleetwood. Hate to pour on this guy's misery, but sorry, Tommy. Let's look at the BMW. Scotty Scheffler plus 225 and Rory. There are some markets without that include Scheffler and McIlroy this year, and roughly about a 30% cut on those prices for the other golfers. Wes, who are we looking at this week?
Yeah, and I think it's probably a good idea to maybe split it half and half in the with and the without market, because not only are you getting Scotty, you're getting Rory, who's the number one in driving distance on tour on a 7,600-yard course there outside of Baltimore at Cave Valley. So I think probably worth taking a little bit of the discount on these players. But I started with Ludwig Aubert, who is anywhere like 20, 22-1 in the with and the without mid-teens. Hit a lull in the summer and in the late spring where he missed the cut at the PGA, missed the cut at the U.S. Open, didn't have a top 10 anywhere for like 3 months, and now he's got 2 top 10s in his last 3 starts, has gained off the tee and approach, so that combines to make ball striking in each of his last 7 starts dating back to the Memorial. He can really attack here with the driver and also with those long irons. You're going to get a lot of like 200-yard plus iron shots here, and he's one of the best in the business at that. So Ludwig on the card this week. And then the guy I hit last time it was here, even though it's a different course now, being a par 70 instead of a 72, Patrick Cantlay, who really doesn't jump off the page in terms of numbers, but third on approach en route to a top 10 finish last week. He's been playing a lot with Keegan Bradley in these practice rounds. That tells me he's likely on the Ryder Cup team, and take that pressure off and win for the first time in 3 years, and has a good chance to do it. He won this event both in 2021 and 2022. And then I'm going back with Cameron Young, who did follow up that first long-awaited victory in Greensboro a couple weeks ago, finished top 5 in Memphis, shot 64 on Sunday, was number 1 in strokes gained off the tee last week. So this is another guy that he continues those hot forms like over several week spans, and Ryder Cup mix, he is definitely in the mix. In a driver-heavy course, I think he can contend here. And then a couple other guys that I think are good on driver-heavy courses. Your guy down there from LSU, Sam Burns, who was the first-round leader here, or shared that lead 4 years ago. Number 1 in putting last week in Memphis. He's a guy probably on the outside looking in for the Ryder Cup. So this week and perhaps next week at the Tour Championship at East Lake is where he's going to want to make an impression. Good course for him with the driver, as it is for our guy Kurt Kitayama, who we hit 3 weeks ago in Minneapolis. Another guy off the tee who is just tremendous. He is second in driving distance in this field behind Rory McIlroy, and he's also 37th in those FedEx Cup standings. So he needs a decent little finish here to get in that top 30 to make Atlanta next week. So Kurt Kitayama, I think he could fit really well on a course where he can just kind of pound it with the driver.
All right, so very good. Wes, give us some. I kind of held you to the Big Ten last week, but you've seen now the AP poll come out in addition to the the coaches poll. Some maybe some thoughts you can share with us, not necessarily with the ranked teams, but anything in college football that may that kind of stands out to you through your research.
Well, when I did look at that poll, I thought Illinois was a little bit overrated. I know a lot of people love Illinois this year, and I'm a little down on these guys. It's not that I don't think they'll be a solid team, but they were like rated almost in the top 10. And I was like, wait a minute, that got kind of lucky in a lot of their games this year. They were 5-1 in one-score games, really overachieved. So Illinois is one of those teams, and there's always, when we get that poll, that top 25, there's always like a handful, maybe 3 or 4 teams that end up maybe out of the poll at the end of the year. And I think Illinois could be one of those teams.
I am bullish on Illinois, but it's not so much. I don't think they're the 12th best team in the country. I think they may probably be a fringe-ranked team, maybe 25 to 30. But we know they do have everybody back, 16 starters, the entire offensive line. add a couple of tight ends and the West Virginia wide receiver. But it's the easiest Big Ten schedule, and it's not close. Of the Big Four, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, they play Ohio State. That's it. And then I kind of had 4 different tiers of power tiers. 6 of their 9 in the conference are from the bottom tier. So the schedule is more than favorable for a lot of companies. And I like Bielema. I like Bielema as a coach. It's going to be unfortunate that they don't return to Las Vegas because a lot of people didn't think it was a great fit. He had a blast. He said, man, this is where I met my wife. Said, listen, we met at the Wynn. I'm going to leave it at that. We're not going to go into any further details. So I'm with you and without you, Wes, if that makes sense. I don't think they're the 12th best team. I don't think they're really close to that. But I think they're going to have a 9-3, 10-2 season and may finish ranked in the top 15.
Watch out for that game at Duke, though, in the second week. They have that opener against Western Illinois. That game at Duke is going to be very tricky, I think, for the Illini in the second week. And I thought Manny Diaz did a good job at those Blue Devils last year with a lot of roster attrition in that one game. So that could be a slip-up spot. Set alert, I think, for the Fighting Illini.
100%, I agree. A lot coming back for Duke, and then you add a guy like Darius Mensah. Kansas just dropped $300 million on their football program player budget today. Duke did it. I mean, I don't know exactly what they spent on Mensah, but it was done early, and all the coaches saying it was a big investment. And if he could play like that in his freshman year, I think he's only going to build. And then sometimes a coach can settle in with a second chance at a lesser expectation program. So, no, they have a lot coming back as well. I think that Duke. No, I'm not just penciling in that as a gimme. Follow Wes on Twitter at Wes Reynolds 1 on Twitter. Wes, great stuff. Let's get this. Let's get one of these picks in this week, man. Let's finish this week. Thank you, buddy.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me, as always.
All right, so there you go. When we come back, we got our golf consensus picks brought to you by our friends over at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Max will weigh in. We do have a couple of common picks already, so we'll see what Max has also. But downtown Dana Brown, Charlie, both you and I have used Dana's team of specialized attorneys for different reasons at different stages of our lives.
And that initial consultation is always free because they want to be your law firm for a lifetime. So if you have legal things that you need taken care of, it could be a simple paperwork. It could be things like estate planning. It could be if you got a ticket somewhere. There's lots of different things that they can help you with. They're going to be that law firm for a lifetime. 343-1111. And on the web, it's OC Brown, O-S-S-I-E Brown.com. Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
All right, Max, let's go.
Yeah, so BMW Championship, Scotty Scheffler, obviously the favorite here. No Ted Scott on the bag, dealing with a private matter, so I hope things are good there. But that did seem to maybe affect him a little bit on Sunday, not having his prime looper on the bag. Rory is tempting here. He played well here. They played at this golf course, Caves Valley, back in 2021 for this edition for the BMW Championship. And he was very much in that conversation. It was a long, driver-heavy golf course. If you hit it long, Bryson was in a playoff with Patrick Cantlay, so that made some sense. I think Rory fits this golf course very well. We haven't seen him in about a month, but he had been playing pretty well on the Scottish swing. Back at the Scottish, he finished runner-up. The Open Championship, he was in the mix, and what was a very hometown feel for him in Northern Ireland. So I really think Rory's going to win this week. But he's dropped from now 8-1 to plus 750. So that's a tough one for me. I don't think I can go there because I'd have to basically bet Rory outright. So instead, I'm going to look for the without Scheffler and Rory markets, which a lot of the sports books have this week. And I'm going to start with Ludwig Oberg at 16-1 without Scotty Scheffler, without Rory McIlroy. I think that's a favorable market considering he's 22-1 with those guys. And Oberg's just hitting the ball really well at the moment. Ball striking is back to where it should be for him, his normal self. He's gained in pretty much all metrics in his last 3 events. 9th last week at the St. Jude Championship. And this driver-heavy course with a lot of long irons absolutely fits what Oberg wants to do. He won earlier this year at the Genesis, at Torrey Pines, a similar golf course where you just bomb it off the tee, figure it out from there with a lot of longer irons. So Ludwig Oberg starting to round into form at the right time, heading into the FedEx Cup playoffs, heading into the Ryder Cup. Oberg 16-1 without Scheffler and Rory starts my card. Cam Young also going to do it in the same market, 20-1 without Scheffler and Rory. Cam Young finally broke through. That was kind of his bugaboo, right? Tommy Fleetwood was the best player to not win on the PGA Tour. Cam Young was second fiddle to him, but he just ran away with it at the Wyndham and followed up his win very respectfully. Last week, 5th place, 5 back at 11 under par. Was absolutely outstanding with the ball striking. Lost a little bit around the greens, but I expect this golf course to fit him very well once again. Someone who absolutely bombs it off the tee, a great driver traditionally, and so Cam Young makes a ton of sense. And now that he's a little bit freed up, having won on the PGA Tour, I think he could be somebody who's in that conversation and finally drive home that he should be on the Ryder Cup team. And then finally, I had a little bit of room for somebody else, not so much in the without Scheffler and Rory market. So this is just straight outright winner, Akshay Bhatia at 60-1. Maybe this is a bit of a FOMO bet for me because I've been on him a lot lately. He disappointed me a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago at the 3M Open. He was the 3rd round leader and then finished 25th. He was 4 over, dreadful in that final round. But that's a little bit uncharacteristic for him to really blow it in the final round. Last week at the St. Jude, he was also another one of my picks. He was a long shot there. And he was the 1st round leader, opening round 62. Finished a respectable 6th place. Like the way he's hitting the ball. He's actually done very well in driver-heavy courses, despite the fact that he's not the longest hitter on tour. It's just, it frees him up a little bit when he's able to kind of wail on the driver. So, like Akshay Bhatia, just kind of a FOMO bet here, 60-1 outright winner market, and he's also 29th in the FedEx Cup standings. So if he's in the conversation, if he's in the leaderboard on Sunday in contention, it's not like he'll be safely in. It's not like he'll be playing for 3rd place or something just to make sure he gets in the Tour Championship. So as long as he has a good finish, he might as well go for the victory. Akshay Bhatia 60-1. Just 3 golfers this week at the BMW Championship.
All right, so Aubert, Cam Young, and Bhatia. Other contributor, Jeff has Xander, Ludwig as well. So that is a unanimous pick right there. Goddard, he's in good form, to say the least. Charlie, for you, Ricky Fowler. And then another common pick, Kitayama. So our Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown's consensus picks, we have one unanimous pick. Now, Ludwig Aubert is 22-1 with Scheffler and Rory, 14-1 without. Cam Young is a common pick, 28-1. These are the Queen numbers at DraftKings. So our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook at the Queen Casino, 28-1 and without 20-1. And Kurt Kitayama is another common pick, 45-1 with and without 30-1. So Wes talked about splitting them up. You want to do 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. That's up to you, but do a little bit of that with any of those 3. Charlie, tell me about Buzzy.
Yeah, Buzzy Hydell and the Morris Insurance Group as we head into the fall. You got the hunting camp, you got the fishing camp. You need insurance on a boat, on an RV, on an ATV, on your trailers, on your tractors. For owners or renters, the Morris Insurance Group can help you out with all of those things, whether you at the duck camp, you're the fishing boat. They offer policies on all coastal properties, including flood insurance. Let the owners protect themselves with the Morris Insurance Group. If you're having a hard time getting insurance for some properties or on your big boy toys, give my man Buzzy a call at 201-0007, 225-201-0007, or online you can get a quote at morris-ig.com.
I got to say, this little kid from Venezuela in the Little League, his nickname, El Panda. Alonzo.
Okay.
Is that a polar bear, Pete?
Yeah. You did better in the language than I did. Yeah. Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Big slate in MLB this afternoon. 8 games on the afternoon slate. Jimmy, who you like?
Going with Kansas City with a roll. Finally, their lineup has got a little spark in it. Washington is just what the doctor ordered for them. But Seth Lugo, after a kind of a rocky start last time, that's more of an outlier. So Kansas City at home, and I'd split it up with the money line about 170 and lay a run. You can lay one run only at Bet Rivers and DraftKings. So either at the Queen or at Bet Rivers there. And it's same thing, Milwaukee minus a run. Now you're laying a big number there as well, minus 190. They're going to finish off until they lose. I mean, how are you gonna pick against them? And then ride the and ride your boy Sanchez. Chris Sanchez for the Phillies on the road. I would split that up on the money line. It's minus 25, and also on the run line, minus 1.5 on the road. Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia.
Brewers and Pirates go in 10 minutes. The Royals and Nationals also go in 10 minutes. That Phillies game is at 4:10 in Cincinnati. Come on over here at Roca Pizzeria. Happy hour. Tuesday through Friday from 2 until 6 p.m. Half off all your house cocktails, all your draft beer, all your glasses of wine.
Pizza's great, but that chicken cutlet's hard to beat, huh, Max?
I get it almost every other time I'm here.
It's good. The bread is really good. So the meatball appetizer. So some of the summer salad, like the burrata and heirloom tomato salad. A lot of different things over here at Roca Pizzeria.
And we appreciate them being our host today. Tomorrow
we're at Fin-Bom.
Fin-Bom, sushi burrito, poke ramen. That's next to Rouse's at the corner of Burbank and Lee. We'll be at Fin-Bom tomorrow, and then back at Rafino's on Friday to close out the week. When we get to Saturday, we'll be 1 week away from week 0 and 2 weeks away from LSU's season opener. Thanks to Miguel and all the folks here at Roca for being our hosts. For Jimmy Ott, for Max Gotro, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.